Thank you. Here comes your controversy. I have been a vocal opponent of this effort, and I still have some concerns, but I feel a lot more comfortable about the money that we're spending. I really want to thank staff for bringing down the per unit costs and some of the other costs that you've been whittling down on this effort. I also I won't mince words. I think that this is the location. The location is the reason why we don't have the amount of demonstration of ill will towards this project that we had in the past. It's location, location, location. So thank you for choosing locations that I think will work. That being said, I also was on the trip to Seattle, and I did learn a lot. And they, quite frankly, some of the requirements that they have are a lot less than the requirements we have for what needs to be in the unit as far as, electrified smoke detectors, for example. I don't think that was one of their requirements. And so I am going to support this effort today. However, I am concerned about looking for more, looking at, within the mayor's memo, it says to look at more locations. A lot of the locations that we were looking at last time didn't really work. Are we going back to the same list of locations? Are we looking elsewhere?
Well, right now I would say we're focused on actually implementing these two. And we're also very interested in the direction we got from the HEAP discussion to look at perhaps empty warehouses or buildings as a more viable alternative for addressing a different population's needs. So we're going to focus on implementing, and then we're going to focus on seeing if we can find some empty buildings that might provide us a different opportunity to get some harder to serve people off the streets.
Okay. And so as far as the efforts to have caseworkers and the other employees that you have on this plan that are going to be there 24 hours a day, is the county chipping in anything, or is this us?
Currently, this is a 100% supported project by the city of San Jose. So the county is going to be supporting it in terms of their funding a portion of the rapid rehousing. So the solution in terms of getting them out of this program is having these subsidies. Those subsidies are predominantly funded by the county.
Okay. Yeah, I just, I've been here for 6 years, and every year we take on more and more and more responsibilities from the county. And it concerns me, the amount of money that we keep increasing for things that should be done by the county. The last question I have is, so let's say we look at some of these sites, the future sites. Is there going to be public, a time where public has to come in and chime whether they want it or not? Or are we going to choose these and then go forward?
That is a really good question. So as you can see, it took us a significant amount of time, and I do really want to thank James and Gabby for all the work that they did to get us here over the last year and all the public participation that they did. Doing that work is not rapid. So, and it doesn't address the issue of, are we going to be able to move quickly? So I think that's something we would like to better understand and receive feedback. Do you want us to spend 2 years doing the public outreach to try to get to a point where people feel maybe not 100% support, but they're not going to block our action? Or do you want us to act more quickly, knowing that this council chamber will be filled with people with opposition? And, it's challenging for us because we hear that you want us to move quickly, and when we do, it's the public that objects to those decisions. So,
well, I can only tell you what I'm thinking, Jackie. And I preferred looking in, and I preferred your office always being focused on creating permanent housing. That's what I hope to have you guys do over and over and over again, because I think that's the best way to house people. have permanent housing, and it's the most cost-effective way, in fact. That being said, I would not vote for something that would circumvent the public from being informed. And so, even though it takes longer, I would prefer that a discussion be had. And if I have to put it, if whoever made the motion would accept that, I would like to have public being able to chime in on any new sites. If I can have that added to the motion, and I would be happy to support it if that is added.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, the friendly amendment is to be able to have council input on new sites?
No, public input on
public insight
and new sites, not these two sites.
Okay.
Any new sites that are being decided upon.
I would assume there would be, but Councilmember Paulus?
Yeah, I guess maybe if you could describe it more. The way I'm thinking about it is this current process had public input. Are you not talking about in the way that it happened this time? You're talking about in a different way?
Well, so the memo that is going forward doesn't actually spell out what kind of public, input we're going to get. So I kind of wanted a little more. I don't want the public to be. My whole goal is to have the public not be removed from these discussions.
I wouldn't want the public removed either. So I'm comfortable with that. I guess I'm not fully understanding what might be the addition to the motion.
So you're saying the addition would be after a list is created, then to discuss the list in the affected areas because number 2 talks about creating a new list of potential sites, and I want the public to weigh in on those potential sites. So
similarly to how they weighed in this time? Or
yes.
Okay. I don't know if I don't imagine it would be much different personally. Wasn't my memo, so I don't know if Mayor, yourself, or another one of your co-signers that want to describe what your intent was,
yeah.
But I thought it would be similar to what.
Yeah, it would, but maybe Jackie, could you weigh in terms of, what you, obviously I know we're not in the point right now where we're going identifying a lot of other sites, but I know we're going to need to find other sites. So if not for this, certainly for all the other kind of housing we need to build for the homeless. So what do you expect?
Well, I guess I was interested, and it sounds like what you all would like us to do is a more extensive process. So my only comment was...
Don't read in what we'd all like to do. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so I think I wanted... Okay, so I wanted clarity.
Yeah.
It took us 2.5 years to get here.
Right.
Do you want us to spend 2.5 years on our next
not at
site?
all.
Okay, so that was the clarity I want. In terms of, would you like us to shorten the amount of public process, and is there any appetite for us to try to move as quickly as possible, knowing that moving faster could result in these chambers being filled with perhaps unhappy
and so let me just offer if I could, since you asked, Councilmember Perales, what I recall about this process isn't that everybody's happy with it because of the 2 locations that were picked. I know that was Councilmember Khamis' suggestion, because I recall being at a community meeting, actually I was at 3 or 4 of these, but one in particular over by the BART site in the Environmental Innovation Center that was packed full of, 250, 300 very unhappy residents who are very unhappy about specifically this site. So there is absolutely nowhere in the city that we're going to select that our residents will be uniformly happy with. We have to accept that fact if we're going to get anything built, and I think we have to expect that if we're going to tackle this crisis in any way at all, we're going to have to do it at the risk of making residents unhappy. So no, I don't want all that process. If nothing else, for the mental health of our housing department, I would prefer not to put them through that. I also know that we had to go through secret review. That's not helpful, but I'm hopeful that maybe we can find some exemptions or perhaps some speedier approaches with state legislative help. I'm hopeful all this can be accelerated, but the reality is, we hear a lot of complaints from the community as well as from my colleagues about the length of time this took, And we have to appreciate that we have seen the enemy, it is us, right? We are the ones who created this delay. We want more community input, we want to make everyone happy, and we want to make sure we avoid litigation, which for good reason, because we know as soon as there's an unhappy neighbor, they're going to sue. So we got to go through CEQA, and we get it. So we've got to find ways to get ourselves out of the way, and so the short answer is no, I prefer not to go through all that.
So I guess it still is going to be somewhat confusing, and I'll just describe what I understand. The 2.5-year process, I wouldn't want to put that on the back of community meetings or involving the community, right? I mean, we had a process that we ended up scratching and going back to the drawing boards because of those 2 particular locations. And then we had a CEQA process that took quite some time after we had a number of community meetings that I had felt the community meetings were adequate. And if we did not have to go through a CEQA process, we could have been having this vote months ago. So I think I wouldn't put it all in the back of saying, hey, this process was long because of community meetings, and let's cut out, a meeting. I think at a bare minimum, we would all want to have a community meeting, right, for a site that was that was being suggested.
Agreed.
Yeah, and so that's where my mind was at. So that's why I was thinking, Mayor, that your memo wasn't saying, eliminate all community input, and that's why I was kind of assuming, to Councilmember Khamis' point, that yeah, absolutely, that would,
Yes.
we wouldn't just move forward without coming to the community. I would agree. I would like a process that wasn't this lengthy. I guess want to reiterate, it's not at the fault of having, a community meeting. Do we have to have numerous community meetings to have the same conversation? No.
And
I would agree.
And
So-
I'm not suggesting
so
that we
I'm-
do numerous community meetings. I just want the community to be aware, and often we do these things and people are taken by surprise, and then when we do community meetings, people's concerns are flushed out. We flushed out some of the 24-hour security because of community meetings, and I think it's important for us to include that in the motion
So
somewhere.
I'm comfortable including that in the motion. I think we are all on the same page up here. I'm hoping staff sees that the same way. So,
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.